I married a billionaire, but little did I know of his double life. He had a secret identity and wealth, hidden from me. His second home was an apartment in a city far away from ours. He even changed his name there, swapping his real one for a new alias. We never went out together after the marriage. He'd always claim an important meeting came up or he was busy elsewhere. He'd disappear for multiple days at a time. I could never reach him while he was gone. He'd always return with an excuse. As time passed, my suspicions grew. I knew his double life must have been hard to hide. Too many pieces of his story didn't add up. I finally uncovered his hidden life. He owned multiple properties and bank accounts, all unknown to me. My husband had created a completely different persona. He had a second wife, yet I had no idea she even existed. He'd lied to everyone he met, including me. His multiple families had no idea about each other. I couldn't believe his double life was more dangerous than I thought. Not only were two people involved, but numerous assets, properties and accounts. I wondered who else he was deceiving. How long had my husband been living a dual life and why? Was I his only victim? He had so many secrets that I couldn't ask him. So, I decided to do some more investigating. I finally met the other wife. She knew nothing of me. She had no idea her husband had a second family. My husband was a master his lies about the other family's false death. She was living a false life of deceit as well, blissfully unaware. My husband had deceived us both and used his wealth as a tool to escape detection. But now it was catching up with him. It seemed he was in debt bad and needed more money. His two families, and all his hidden assets were about to come to light. I had no idea how I'd handle the situation. But I was determined to expose my husband and his double life. After a few weeks, my husband's debt collectors and the police started coming by. His debts were more than he'd let on. I had enough evidence to put him away for good and my husband knew it. I had discovered his dishonest business dealings and affairs. My husband had lied and cheated for years. He was now in serious trouble with the law. My husband became fearful of the consequences of his actions. He was arrested and taken into custody without hesitation. In the court of law, my husband was sentenced for all of his wrongdoings. His double life was crumbling down with no chance of a way out. He had to serve a significant amount of jail time as punishment for his actions. I was relieved to be rid of him and his lies. A few months passed and I was finally able to move on with my life. All I wanted was to forget my husband's double life. I had a new job and close friends who supported me. I was soon able to leave the trauma of my past behind me. Despite all the hardships, I felt empowered. The truth had revealed itself, and I was glad that I could move on.